2.
Hi, I'm Matthew.
Preston.
Hi, I'm Lindsay.
Hello, I'm Stacy.
My name's Clark.
And again, Mom is holding the camera, videoing this speech. I'm going to jump right in. Today I want to talk about communication systems. And here at the church, we are implementing a new system called Text in Church. And this allows us to communicate with people in our congregation and with new people coming in at certain events, certain updates, different stuff like that. Text in Church incorporates texting and emailing, but the majority of it will be texting. If they give their email, then great, we'll send them an email. But texting is a huge part of what Text in Church is, and studies have been showing that texting is a major part of the society and this culture, and every age group has, I guess, developed or evolved to use texting as a major source of communication. The texting percentages I was just talking about have been proven, like I just said, by multiple sources. One of them is Aaron Smith from the Pew Research Center. He writes that 18 to 24-year-olds send or receive an average of 109.5 text messages per day. And that comes to about 3,200 text messages a month that they're sending or receiving. And the next age group, which is 24 to 35, is about half of that at 50 to 55 text messages a day. That's a lot of text messages. For both age groups from 18 to 35, that's a lot of text messages. They're texting all the time. And for us to incorporate this kind of system into our church, it allows us to keep ourselves in front of the community, in front of this culture, this texting culture that is kind of developed, and it kind of just gets us into their daily lives instead of calling them, sending them a letter. That's not how it's done anymore. It's texting, and if you can text them, it takes about 90 seconds is what the study shows to pick up the phone, text back, and respond. But it's not just the younger generation, the millennials that we're so called. The older generation is getting into the fun as well. Granted, they might not send as many texts as an 18-year-old would. Studies have shown multiple sources that I've looked at. The one I'm going to reference was written by Richard Manfredi, I think is how you say his name. He is the content marketing manager at Engage. It's a website that I was looking at. He says that 94% of those in the silent generation, which was those born from 1928 to 1945, have reported that 94% have reported that they text on a weekly basis. I don't know how many texts that they actually send, but it has been reported that they do text on a weekly basis. And that 94% is a large number of people 70 years or older. So it's not just young, it's old too. It's a wide scope who use texting for communication, and that's why Text in Church will be such a great thing for our church to keep ourselves in front of this community. There's also many benefits to texting and this Text in Church program that we are implementing. Aaron Nicholson is a pastor in Lincoln, Nebraska, and his church has implemented a texting system, and he put together a list of different benefits that this texting program, similar to Text in Church, has given his church. Number one was outreach. It helps them reach a community rather than spend a whole Saturday knocking doors, putting out, and that's all great. But he said that texting, keeping it in front of them through social media, through technology, has allowed them to connect with more people in a quicker time span and on a more efficient basis. And he said that it helps with updates on events, church services, things happening around the church, keeps them updated. And then lastly, it gets them unified. It keeps the congregation connected. And along these three, outreach, updates, and unity is what I've put on my paper here. Those are three great things for any congregation, any church to have, to outreach in the community, to update their current members, and to just unify the whole congregation. And that's a great thing that we're implementing here at Text in Church. It's a great program, a communication program that allows the church staff to send messages to groups of people in the church and to keep the congregation updated unified and together. And I think it's going to be a great thing for this church. So thank you for listening to my speech, and hopefully we can get it implemented.